Welcome to the show, everyone. I love my show. And the reason why I love this show so much is such great information for everybody out there. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. My first guest has been on with me for over 5-6 years now. I have with me Howard Farkash. He's an insurance and benefits advisor. Welcome to the show. I want you to tell everybody first a little bit about yourself, what you do, and you know what? I have to say something about you. That's okay.
Go right ahead.
Well, first of all, you got to meet Howard. Howard, first of all, you're a listener. You've been on the show forever. You are the most meticulous person I've ever met. And if you ever need any questions about Medicare insurance, anything like that, he's your guy, because you know what? You will tell people exactly, you will answer their questions so they understand it. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Thanks for those nice, kind words. Welcome to everybody. Happy to be with you all this afternoon. We live here in Arizona for days such as this. This is certainly why we live here.
Yes, it's beautiful.
As you mentioned, I'm Howard Farkash of the Howard Farkash Agency. And what we do at Howard Farkash Agency is we work with people on what we call lifelines of insurance. Life insurance, health insurance to include Medicare, long-term care, and disability income. These are the things that we work on. These are the products that we work with, basically. But we're more than just a sales organization. We believe very much in forming strong relationships with our clients, relationships that go year after year after year. As people's needs change, we change right along with them. We conceive of ourselves as being advisors as opposed to being salespeople. We work for the client. We get paid by the carrier, but we get what we really work for our clients, basically. And we have several focuses. Well, first of all, we make sure that people can transition from work to retirement. We transition their benefits so that they still maintain a strong benefit portfolio. And what we do is we focus on certain things, like we focus on education. We want to make sure people understand what their decisions are all about, because there are choices on all the benefits, on the life insurance, on the health insurance or Medicare, on long-term care, and on disability income as far as that's concerned. So there are ways to cover these needs, basically, but you have to understand them before you can make decisions about them. So we bring people to the point of making a decision, and then we help them enroll in a plan. Usually we do that by a face-to-face meeting, as most of our consultations are face-to-face. But of course, those are free consultations. People don't pay for those consultations. After people have decided what they want, we get them enrolled. We follow that enrollment through to its conclusion, to the point you have your identification cards and your policies ready to place in your files, basically. But we're not done just then. We still go further. We're there to solve the problems that come up as you use Medicare. So that's very important. And today I wanted to focus on what they don't tell you when you are enrolling in Medicare, because there are gaps in coverage. Medicare, whether you buy a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan, there are going to be gaps in your coverage. You should be advised about these gaps so they don't come as surprises to you, and often they come as expensive surprises. So it all depends on what kind of plan you're on, what those gaps happen to be.
Well, when you work with people, there's a lot of people that don't understand that you call it care after Medicare.
Right, care beyond Medicare.
Beyond Medicare. And you just call Howard. His phone number is 602-909-8433.
Yes, as I mentioned, some of these gaps can be expensive, but what you can do about those gaps is you can cover them with cash. Oh, cash? What do you mean cash? I'm going to get a part of a bank and I'll be able to draw on anytime I want? Not exactly, but there are policies you can get which will augment the coverage that you have. Like I say, people sometimes are surprised because during the learning phase, it's not necessarily brought to the table that maybe you'll have hospital copays if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan. If you're on a supplement, you won't have those copays, but you still might need some cash in order to assist you with your recovery for your home health care, for example. Most people who leave a hospital have a period where they're at home recovering, invented a new word, recuperating, okay, recovering. So there are recovery policies that you can get without very much heavy underwriting and things of that nature.
I have a question. Okay.
Go for it.
I want to ask you, everybody's listening and they say, oh, well, I could use that. Can they call you any time for that, or do they have to wait till it, because like with Medicare, there's usually always like, okay, this period. Let's say they do want to cover themselves, can they call you now?
Yes, it's open season for these augmented or ancillary products. Anytime that you understand about them and you want to inquire more, please feel free to give me a call.
His number is 602-909-8433.
Right, so there are no special enrollment periods. That's an interesting conversation because a lot depends on what kind of plan you have, getting back to Medicare, when you can change your plans, and that brings up the topic of reviews. We tend to look at the period of October, I think it's October 15th through December 7th as being the time to change your plan for the coming year. That's true of Medicare Advantage plans, but if you're in Medicare supplements, you can change those anytime you want just as well. However, you'll have to qualify medically. You'll have to answer questions on the application, and the insurance companies might just decide not to invite you in and cover you. That's a prerogative that they do have, and they do exercise it. So, especially if you're interested in Medicare and you want to know the difference, I'll spend a lot of time with you explaining you the difference between the two types of plans, and you might want to make your decision before you start going down the track.
Now, this is a free service to you. It makes sense to have someone like Howard speak to you about this, especially when, now you've had your Medicare, you've been on it's about what 4 months into having your new Medicare. Maybe you're on it new, maybe you change your plan, maybe you don't like things, or you're worried about maybe they have to go to the dentist, they don't have a dental plan.
Well, that's one of the ancillary products is dental. Usually that's wrapped around the vision and hearing process just as well. When you say vision, doesn't your Medicare supplement cover visual? Yes, it does. It covers diseases of the eyes, but it doesn't cover routine care of the eyes. Every year as we get older, we need to go see the optometrist in order to see if our glass prescription is still proper. So there's many of these other benefits that you think you're covered for until you have an experience, and then you find out you're on the hook for it.
Right.
Or in a very bad case, you have a bad experience, like a stroke, and you might need either recovery care from that, or you might need long-term care because your inability to do 2 activities of daily living would qualify you for the benefits of a long-term care policy. So we cover a very broad waterfront in terms of what's out there, but most people don't think about these things until it's too late.
I have another question.
Why not?
So let's say somebody goes to the doctor, they go to the eye doctor, and they go, oh my God, I'm only covered for disease of the eye. Can they then call you and get covered?
Oh yes, there's absolutely any time. There are, as I mentioned, vision, hearing, and
Dentist.
and dental. Yeah, they're kind of incorporated.
Because it's important, because a lot of people may not realize.
Right, exactly.
Because they always think, okay, I'm going to have to wait till next year, but you don't have to wait.
Medicare supplements do not have dental coverage, basically. Yes, if you are in an accident and your jaw is malaligned, that would be covered by your Medicare supplement, basically. But just for routine dentistry and things of that nature, you do need to have another product, another plan.
Right.
Right, and once again, those can be purchased at any time throughout the year.
We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. The number to call him is 602-909-8433. It's what they don't tell you that you possibly could need to make sure that you have peace of mind. Just call Howard at 602-909-8433. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
Very good.
So we're on a break here, but you know what? We're live on Facebook.
I know.
So, okay.
Yeah, okay, no, we're fine. I just
Are
want to.
headphones okay, or they need to be loud?
It just seems like they're not loud, and I'd like him to be bumped up more if that's
See how it
possible.
works?
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't have control of the headphones in there,
Okay.
so yours.
Oh, in there?
Yeah, we don't, so yours is right here.
Oh, I never touched that, yeah.
Yep, and that's the volume for it.
Okay,
And
so then I can have, what about his?
Well, I'm gonna turn these other ones up because the mics were switched, so,
Yeah,
there we go. A little better?
okay, better for me.
Good. Yep. Alright.
This gal's been coming on my show a long time, the one that you're listening to
Oh, yeah?
right now, yeah. They do all DUI services, because when somebody gets a DUI, it's not just call your attorney. There's a lot of things you have to do that people don't realize, just like for you, that they have to do in order for them to finish their, whatever it is that happens to them.
I did all my drinking in the service, filled my quota.
So we're kind of like that I have it here as people think that they are covered.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want that?
I can hear. I was thinking about something else.
What is that? Canny?
No, cancer. It's my abbreviation for cancer.
Why did you say that? Why are you talking about that?
I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh.
Right.
That's your abbreviation for cancer?
CANX.
Oh. I would never have known that in a million years. Here we go.
We all have our peculiarities.
After 5 years, it's a little bit different, you know what I mean? It just is. Here we go. So welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Howard Farkash. He's an insurance and benefits advisor. And, we've been talking a little bit about people, what they don't know, or what Medicare doesn't really tell you about after you're enrolled.
Sure, Carol, that's really, and it's unfortunate because a lot of times people who get these surprises can't afford the bills that they have. So what they really need is a cash infusion of some sort. And cash
I'd like a cash infusion myself. Go ahead.
I guess we'd all would, wouldn't we?
Yeah, of course.
Right. But the real point is that there's some processes. I'm not here to pick on Medicare, just the Medicare Advantage specifically, or Medicare Supplement for that matter. They each have their weakness. We need care beyond Medicare. If you think you're 100% covered by your F plan, Medicare F plan, you're not. You haven't been told that there's more to it. Just because you're covered, you are covered for medical events, but you're not covered for what we sometimes refer to them as custodial events or care at home events, basically, long-term care specifically. And that can run into thousands of dollars, usually associated with either an Alzheimer's occurrence or a cancer occurrence, basically. So you need cash to cover your the activities of daily living. You may not be able to get out of bed, for example. You need someone to assist you. Someone has to assist you to the restroom. Someone has to help you take a shower. Someone has to produce meals for you. This is not covered by any form of health insurance. Oh, by the way, if you're not, forgetting about Medicare, if you're just a 35, 45-year-old person running around, you face the same problems. So there's short-term care and there's long-term care for you to be aware of and realize there's cash infusion. Now, this doesn't work for everybody. Let's take the example of somebody who just happens to be very, very well off and has a Medicare Advantage plan. $200 a day for a 5-day hospital stay is $1,000. And that's for very well off people. that's an inconvenience, okay? For other people, that's a disaster. But then when you talk about a Medicare Advantage plan that has a maximum out of pocket of say $4,000 to $6,000, that could be a real out of pocket
Disaster.
Exactly. There's other things. People get cancer, okay? Well, I'm not here to criticize the medical profession. When you go to the doctor, he or she diagnoses you with cancer, they're going to get in some sort of routine to see if that works, some sort of a treatment routine. And if that doesn't work in a certain amount of time, they'll change to another routine. They'll change to another routine. And you usually don't bring in the gene therapy until probably 3 to 4 tests in there, which might be too late. But if you'd gotten to that early, it may have saved your life, basically. So once again, there is a precision cancer type of a plan that's available. But all these plans do is give you money given a certain condition, and you get to use that money any way that you want. By the way, when we talk about long-term care policies, we're not talking about the policies that were available in the late 70s, early 80s, early 90s. The industry has evolved, and there are different types of policies now, sometimes referred to as hybrid policies, where they're not use it or lose it kind of based policies. What we mean by that, pay in for year in, year out, and never use it, you've lost all that money. There are now newer type plans where if you don't use it, you pass on, you don't use it for long-term care, it goes to your family, to your heirs, or your charity, wherever you want it to go, because they're attached to either annuities, which are specialized savings accounts, or it goes to life insurance. So there are these advantages that have come into the marketplace over the last several years that make long-term care a real consideration again for a lot of people who looked at it and decided against it. Because you don't want your 5'2", barely 100-pound wife taking your 6'5" husband to the shower. It's going to wind up with the wife hurting herself and becoming a need for care herself. So these are very important considerations. And I'll tell you how it really goes up and down the street. Man says, I don't want it, I don't need it, I'm not going to use it, I'll just shoot myself. It's about that time I reach in my briefcase and pull out a toy gun. It kind of breaks things. It kind of breaks things up, basically. Someone said I'm going to drive off a cliff. I say, yeah, make sure you get an old car before you go, because you want to leave your wife a nice car. You can't have these kind of attitudes. These kind of attitudes, you really are not protecting yourself as much as you're protecting your loved one. And maybe you do love your wife more than you love yourself, or your husband more than you love yourself. But give each other the gift, realistically, of having adequate coverage. Or if you're young, if you're 35, 45 years old, and your parents are somewhat older, and they're not one of those wealthy people I spoke about a moment or two ago, a lot of that financial expense is going to come at you, basically, when you start caring for your parents, basically. So maybe you might want to assist them in getting some sort of coverage, and that can be worked out just as well.
You know, you have been doing this for how long?
Oh, about 150 years.
Yeah.
But I work a lot of overtime. It just looks like 150 years.
But you know what? You walk in their shoes.
Oh, I'm there right now, as a matter of fact.
Explain that.
Well,
Can you say a little bit?
My wife recently had a stroke. We're just about ready to, and I've been giving her care, basically. I can speak about care from a first-hand experience, but we're just about ready to trigger her long-term care policy. Now, it's one of the older policies, so it has more restraints upon it, but it's out there. That was the best available at the time we got it. So I felt that was very important. For the longest time, I felt we didn't really need this, but here she now has triggered this. We've had this since she was 55 years old, 82 now, basically. So we did put a lot of money into it, but I calculated the break-even point. It's less than 6 months. I'll have recovered all of my premiums and been money ahead thereafter. So these are important considerations for people to work. I bring an analytical approach to this. I help you make a decision based on the analysis of premiums, benefits, and probabilities. That's also a very important aspect of the business.
Well, just call Howard and he will talk to you. It is a free service to you. It's 602-909-8433.
One thing I want to talk about before we leave is we tend to focus on that last part of the year for Medicare Advantage reviews. We can review those almost any time, and it might be better for you to get a review before the season opens, because most of the agents that are street agents like myself, we're going to be swamped. If we get some partial information about what you like and what you don't like in advance, we can rip through and give you a better plan, find a better plan to propose for you. We don't push product, we propose, okay? That's another very important aspect of how we run our business.
Well, when you say analytical, that's the best word that is for you, I'm telling you. But what's really great is when you have questions, where you answer them and the way you make sure that person understands that you talked about education. It's all about that for you.
Right, and we don't speak jargon. We don't use terms that most people wouldn't understand.
No.
We use up and down the street language to make things comfortable for you so that you do understand it. And when I'm in a house, I will always ask, do you know enough now to make a decision? Do you want to write a policy now? I treat you like I would treat my mom, okay? There's an old saying here, when you talk about building salespeople, when you're running a sales organization, we always talk about who was your first sales manager. And my first sales manager was my mother, okay? I don't mean that literally, but she taught me to treat people the way they needed to be treated, basically. And that's one of the things that goes on in this industry. There's just a little bit too much bim bam, thank you ma'am, and I don't put up with that.
You know what? You don't. And the best thing about you, as I've said all along, is how you help people to understand. Because let me tell you something, Medicare is not an easy subject. They've made it extremely complicated.
Yeah, yes, it is complicated. It's kind of like a puddle. You can never tell how deep it is from the top.
That's
so
true.
If someone throws a little bit of information at you and you make a decision quickly, you'll find out later on. I hope you never find out. I hope you die in your sleep at 95 with never taking an aspirin. That's the best thing we can all hope for. But unfortunately, people find out because they have not been adequately briefed before they got into the business.
What are your final words?
Well, I think you want to work with people who will give you the time that you need. There's a whole thing going on in medicine right now. My doctor never spends enough time with me. That's because he's driven by profit. I spend time with people, as much time as they absolutely need. And so that's very important. Don't work with a telebroker, work with a flesh and blood broker who will give you the time you need to make a decision. So
But the main thing is that you understand that first of all, that he is here to educate you and to present to you what he thinks that would be good for you.
Absolutely. I will help you make your decision, but I'm not going to make it for you.
Just call Howard. His number is 602-909-8433. This is a free service to you. Again, 602-909-8433.
Thank you. Good day.